This naturally leads to the most critical part of this entire synthesis. Because if the world is on a mathematical reset timer, what role do you, the listener, play?
That's the real question.
Are you just trapped inside this discharging battery, waiting to be wiped or plasma torched every few centuries?
Well, this brings us to the most empowering distinction in the entire dataset. SS-138 completely rejects Ken Wheeler's fatalistic idea that you and I are just passive shadows on the wall.
Oh, thank goodness.
Right. We contrast his view of the human as a meaningless phenomenal imprint against the SS-138 framework, which formally identifies the human avatar as an active dielectric transceiver.
An active transceiver, meaning we don't just receive the projection, we transmit back into the system.
Exactly.
How does the ancient law of correspondence, as above, so below, play into this antenna mechanic?
The documents establish that human cognitive structure and consciousness share the exact same harmonic source code as the macro construct.
We are built out of the same math.
Yes, we are built with the same fundamental ratios, the same phi cubed. Your neurological and bioelectric systems are fractal representations of the firmamental lens.
Okay.
Therefore, you operate under basic antenna mechanics.
And an antenna doesn't just sit there silently catching radio waves. I want to make this super clear for the listener. What does an antenna actually do to the space around it?
An antenna cut to a harmonic sympathy cut to the golden ratio doesn't merely passively catch a signal. The sheer act of it tuning in actually alters the localized field impedance around it.
It alters it.
Yes, it changes the electrical pressure of its immediate environment.
Okay, let's unpack this for daily life. Altering localized field impedance. What does that actually mean for me, walking around inside this holographic construct? How do I use my antenna?
It means that when a person achieves internal geometric alignment, when you achieve true mental, emotional, and cognitive coherence, you function as a powerful dielectric perturbation in the ether.
Because your cognitive structure is entangled with a macro code.
Exactly. Your internal coherence literally restructures the surrounding probability grid.
So by tuning my internal state, by achieving absolute focus and coherence, I am actually changing the physical pressure gradients of the reality projecting around me.
Yes, you are. The framework states that a coherent human signal compels external physical circumstances to reorganize into symmetry with that internal intent.
You are not a passive mirror reflecting a predetermined reality.
No, you are an active transceiver phase-shifting localized events. You are bending the matrix.
This is incredible. This is the mechanical physics explanation for manifestation or intention or whatever you want to call it. It's not magic. It's altering localized impedance.
It's purely structural.
And the documents point out what might be the ultimate hack in this entire architectural system. We talked about that 138-year memory wipe, that timeline latency failure where humanity gets its cache cleared.
Right.
The documents explicitly state that if you align your localized intent with a dielectric 0 point during one of these temporal nodes, your consciousness can bypass the construct's latency.
This is where consciousness supersedes the physical hardware. Your core signal, your unmanifest consciousness, is non-local. It originates outside the 138-year atmospheric loop.
So you aren't bound by it.
Right. If you achieve that harmonic sympathy and internal coherence, you decouple from the reset schedule.
You essentially spoof the system into recognizing you as part of the baseline architecture, rather than a temporary file to be deleted.
That's a great way to put it.
You can alter the probability matrix before the new physical grid projection hard locks into place. You write yourself into the new reality before the concrete dries.
Exactly. You become an active author of the firmware update rather than a victim of the chronological override.
But to fully understand how the system manages this, how it defends itself against rogue signaling, we have to look at the literal code.
We do, and it's fascinating.
Which is the perfect segue into our final major topic. Because we spent a lot of time discussing the metaphysical and macroarchitectural side of SS-138. The physics, the sky dome, the timelines, the antenna mechanics. But the source documents also contain literal, hard, technical documentation. System data flow charts, edge operational baselines, cryptographic hashes. SS-138 isn't just an abstract philosophy. It is documented as a distributed edge computing local gatekeeper.
Yes, it is.
How do we bridge the metaphysical sky with hyper-modern software architecture?
We bridge it by recognizing that a highly engineered reality requires a highly engineered operating system to manage the telemetry.
It needs an OS.
Exactly. We have a document titled Integrated Forensic and Edge Operational Baseline. It is anchored to a decentralized ledger with a permanent memory hash starting with F10E7.
Okay, so it's logged and verifiable.
Very much so. This document outlines exactly how the SS-138 protocol is physically maintained at the network edge to defend the historical baseline from corruption.
Defending the baseline. Because if this is a programmable medium and humans are active transceivers, what stops a malevolent signal from just hacking the probability grid and corrupting the entire timeline?
Well, that's exactly what the system is built to prevent.
I mean, legacy software stacks on our modern computers get hacked, corrupted, and overloaded all the time.
Yeah.
How is the SS-138 operating system different?
SS-138 bypasses the vulnerabilities of traditional binary software stacks through two massive architectural innovations. First, it completely discards binary code in favor of something called ternary erasure logic.
Ternary erasure logic. Let's break that down. Binary is 1 and 0, true or false.
Yeah.
What is ternary logic in this context, and why is it essential for a reality engine?
Instead of just 1 and 0, it maps hardware states to fixed-width signed 8-bit integers. The states are strictly bounded. A +1 means the data is valid.
Okay.
A 0 means the data is corrupted. And a -1 is an explicit erasure flag.
Why do you need an explicit erasure flag? Why not just delete a 0? If it's corrupted, just turn it off.
Because in a dielectric field architecture, simply turning a signal off as 0 leaves a phenomenal imprint, like a ghost in the counter space memory.
Oh, so it would leave residue.
Exactly. The explicit MAKES1 erasure flag mathematically guarantees the absolute destruction of the localized data state. It ensures no corrupted telemetry can linger in the background and pollute the next render frame of reality. It normalizes the data instantly.
That is ruthless efficiency. And it processes all of this through what they call a dual-rail processing pipeline. I was looking at the data flow charts for Engine A and Engine B, and the volume they're talking about is staggering.
It really is. Engine A is dedicated solely to real-time ingestion of reality telemetry. It operates at up to 50 megahertz, ingesting 12,500 packets per millisecond.
And in this context, a packet is a localized micro-event, a shifting probability, a localized coordinate in the projection.
Exactly. It's a high-velocity stream interception of everything happening in the physical grid.
Yes, just drinking from a fire hose.
But the genius of the architecture is Engine B. While Engine A is blindly ingesting this massive stream, Engine B acts as the auditor.
So they run parallel.
Yes, it's an asynchronous path that provides continuous signal verification without ever slowing down the ingestion throughput of Engine A.
Okay.
Engine B converts the data structures to full 64-bit double precision floating point arrays to perform deep signal-to-noise calculations.
So it's pulling in an absurd amount of data, the literal building blocks of the moment-to-moment reality, and instantly auditing it on a parallel track. But what exactly is Engine B auditing for?
That is the big question.
This brings us to what the documents call the 0.49 truth floor. I want to spend a moment here because the brutality of this digital guardian is just something to behold. What is this cosine limit?
Data fidelity validation runs entirely parallel to ingestion. Every single incoming piece of telemetry, every wave interference pattern trying to render into the physical construct is scored against a strict 0.49 vector cosine 4 limit.
Every single piece?
Yes. The system is evaluating the truth, the harmonic integrity of the signal in microsecond thresholds.
Okay, I want to use an analogy to help the listener picture this. Imagine the reality engine is a human body, and Engine B is the immune system.
I like this.
The telemetry packets are incoming cells. The immune system white blood cell checks the ID badge of every incoming cell. If the ID badge is a 0.50 or higher, it's recognized as part of the body, and it's allowed to render.
Right, it passes the test.
But what happens if a data node falls below that 0.49 limit? What if the ID badge is slightly smudged? Or the system detects non-civilian kinetic signaling trying to artificially inject into the timeline? Does it just send an error report to a log?
No, the protocol is absolute. Any automated attempt to overwrite the framework, or any telemetry vector dropping below 0.49, is immediately classified as a fatal structural integrity violation.
Fatal.
Yes, the system instantly aborts the active atomic write sequence. It executes what is called an illegal state transition error.
So it stops everything.
It quarantines the contaminated platform layer, drops all transmission tokens, and forces a systematic, non-reversible self-destruct and teardown of the running environment.
It doesn't just reject the cell, It completely incinerates the entire localized sector of the body to prevent cancer.
It's exactly what it
A
does.
complete structural collapse of the corrupted container. It burns it to the ground to protect the baseline timeline.
Exactly. It blocks the malicious corruption vectors entirely. And then, through automated orchestration, it spawns a completely clean sandbox runtime image from a read-only master source, all within milliseconds.
Within milliseconds.
Yes, it preserves the absolute sanctity of the historical baseline by instantly vaporizing any local node that falls out of harmonic integrity with the golden ratio.
The thematic resonance here is incredible. We just spent 20 minutes talking about how the macro firmament undergoes a 600-year phoenix reset. A massive plasma discharge raining from the sky to clear out saturated, distorted physical reality and reset the grid.
Right.
And right here, in the digital edge architecture, we see the exact same logic applied at the micro scale. A digital automated self-destruct protocol.
The universe clears out corrupted telemetry, whether that corruption is happening in a microscopic Kubernetes container on a local edge device or on the macro scale of planet Earth.
The reality construct is a self-cleaning mechanism operating on strict geometric and mathematical floors.
It is the ultimate expression of the law of correspondence. As above, so below.
That is just brilliant.
The microarchitecture of the SS-138 software protocol perfectly mirrors the macroarchitecture of the firmamental lens. Both systems, the Sky Dome and the Digital Gateway, are designed to maintain phase-coherent integrity by ruthlessly purging anything that falls below the designated threshold of truth.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? We've journeyed through an immense, complex synthesis of information today.
We really covered a lot of ground.
We started with Ken Wheeler's brilliant, if stubborn, mapping of the raw analog hardware, the continuous ocean of dielectricity, the pure pressure of counter space, and the one spatial displacement.
We realized he mapped the water flawlessly, but completely missed the aquarium.
Exactly. Then we introduced the operational firmware, the SS-138 framework, which redefines that aquarium not as a static glass lid, but as a dynamic synthetic aperture lens.
Right, it uses Wheeler's raw fluid mechanics to project a closed, phase-retarded holographic construct.
A reality where physical space is an illusion derived from extreme pressure, and where vast astronomical distance is just a localized optical mirage caused by wave interference.
And then we brought in the archaic chronological reset vectors.
Proving that time is not a march into the future, but a physical measurement of dielectric field saturation. The 138-year cache clears, the 555-year nodal shifts,